Join internationally acclaimed overland expert Paul Marsh and award-winning journalist Gregory Simpson as they delve into all things responsible overlanding. From choosing the right vehicle, getting yourself prepared, getting your vehicle prepared, safety tips, and much, much more. Only on Responsible Overlanding.
So you'll see these windows are missing because we've taken the glass out, and this is going to be an aluminium panel that goes in here, and we're going to cut in a water filler which is lockable. So each side you'll be able to fill the water from the outside into your tank.
You can have a little shower.
Or you
Do
can.
you recommend showers, or is that overkill?
People like showers, and it's a personal thing. My favorite, which many years I've put into vehicles, is one of these insecticide bottles you pump up to spray weeds. And I cut that long spout down and I pump it up, because you know what, when you're trying to wash your hands, it's actually, you miss that water. So it doesn't use a lot of water, and you can wash your hands very easily, you can wash your hair, but a shower bag works. People put geysers in. I'm not a great fan of complicating stuff, so if you want a lightweight shower bag that works,
get those army ones.
That army ones, the Swiss water bladders are the best. You get these Swiss water bladders, which they really out of Switzerland. They're black and they're military spec. They're brilliant. So that, or my pump-up shower, because I can carry an extra 5 liters or so. Here's the
nice big fridge.
So we've got the fridge here.
How many litre fridge do you normally go for?
This one is a 52 litre, this particular one. Okay. We go for 52 or the 50 litre National Lunar. I like the National Lunar because I like the orientation that we've got here. These are just to stop the fridge moving, so the fridge is going to be located in position, and then the fridge is going to get strapped down. Okay. And then the fridge will be able to open up here, and there's a light up here that you can put on just in here if you needed to look in there. And then here's the access area. So underneath here we've got access in there. Yeah, goes right in.
Low center of gravity as well, so you can put heavy
stuff
you can
put some heavy stuff in there. Recovery kit can be quite heavy. And then what we've got hidden in the front here is a safe. So if you move the seat forward, you can access a safe, and that's bolted in. It's a proper steel safe. And again, you can put hiding points around the car, but it's peace of mind, really. I've got something locked in, and that's out of sight, which is really what you're looking at. So yes, you've got access to your fridge. You could make it a bit lower if you wanted to, but again, I've felt that the value of having the space underneath, is worth lifting the fridge up a bit. Exactly. And sometimes on cars, we take these door panels off and we put a panel on here, and you can again put pockets on here because you're not sitting here. And once you've customized a car like this, it's never going back to what it was. So just face it, you're going to sell it customized. So do what you want to it. So here it's perfect. I mean, all this can come off. You can keep the handle and maybe the window switch, or you can take that all off because you may not ever really open this window, your choice. And you've again got more access space here. Put a cover on the fridge, pockets on the front here. It's little bits of space that you find useful for bits and pieces. And that's where I find it's those little, when you've used the vehicle for a while, you come back and you go, you know what, I just need space for this little item. If I could just put this here. And that's where the customization comes in. I've got a great guy who does canvas work for us, and he'll custom make stuff, or modify something that we need. So it takes time to build a vehicle. And once you've got your vehicle all set up, you've got to get out, you've got to use the truck, you've got to go and drive the miles, you've got to come back, you've got to figure out what you're leaving at home that was too much, what's essential and critical that you need to take. Safety kit you never compromise on, but certainly the kit that's going to make your trip enjoyable is that balance. We all think we need the extra gizmo, the coffee machine built in, a blender. We don't need all that. Let's keep it simple. If you can have a simple thing to make coffee, a coffee plunger, and it's a stainless steel one, and you can plunge your coffee, great.
And in terms of lashing things on, are vitally important in terms of safety, so you don't have things flying around?
If I told you that your mobile phone on the dash in an accident could
possibly kill you,
could possibly kill you. And when I've had the unfortunate situation of being in a car when I flipped it and rolled it. I not only broke my neck, but I actually am very lucky to be standing here talking to you today. So safety for me is paramount, and I can't tell people enough of how important that is because I've lived through it. So stuff in the car, when it's not tied down, not secured, it's a lethal weapon. And if you're unfortunate enough to ever roll a car, that can kill you.
And it all happens.
You're driving. So what did I do wrong? I was tired. my biggest mistake. That's the reason. That's the main reason. I was driving faster than I was aware, on gravel, in a remote part of the world, where I was very lucky that they were able to get rescue to me because it was very remote. I had to get a military helicopter. So really what I'm saying is, when you start breaking rules, it's like scuba diving. I teach diving, I used to. Diving is one of the safest sports out until you break a rule and you die. Well, this is similar. We're just a bit more lax about it because we get away with more. So on dirt roads, when people are driving on dirt gravel roads in Namibia, it's probably the most dangerous part of the world to drive a vehicle on dirt roads. More rollovers happen in Namibia than anywhere in the world. And people go, well, what do you mean? I go, because people break rules. They're driving faster than 80 kilometers an hour with a heavily loaded vehicle. Sure, the locals drive fast. They grew up there. But the reality is they're driving a vehicle that's probably empty. You're probably tired. You're pushing to get to a place. You may be dehydrated. You've come out of a stressful environment and you're now on your holiday. How much have you actually settled in, relaxed, properly hydrated yourself from the flight, had a proper good sleep, are familiar with your vehicle and everything you're going to do on the trip before you head out? Now, hire, not a bad thing, but people don't take the responsibility to actually do that. They'll land, want to get their vehicle, not too worried about the handover because that's wasting time. They want to get on the road to get to their place. That get, go, go, go. That get, go often ends up with a problem.
On the top of the
and we've seen it, and the stats have proved it. So anywhere in the world, whenever you're going, what is responsible overlanding? How do we actually take overlanding and make it more responsible? Well, we've got to take that responsibility. We personally have to go, I'm hiring a vehicle, this is my vehicle. I need to be more responsible. How do I do that? And that's about plugging the knowledge gaps that you have, knowing what you don't know that you don't know, understanding how you can improve those gaps. Excuse me. And what are you going to do to actually build your knowledge base? Know your vehicle, know your equipment, understand the mechanics of your vehicle. You don't have to be a mechanic, but you need to be able to recognize problems, and that's key. So when you're stuck somewhere in the middle of nowhere, you go, there's an oil leak, or there's a noise, let me stop, let me look, let me see if I can find it. Phone for help if you can. Responsible overland.
Exactly.
So on all the vehicles, the sort of basic mods we'll do, we will do a lift on the vehicle in a sense that we're putting an upgraded suspension on. Putting the suspension to carry the extra weight. And then you need to upgrade the brakes. Now you get really good brakes you can put on these vehicles, grooved and drilled. A number of companies who make good brake solutions. So it's important. You're adding weight, you need to be able to slow that weight down. Good brakes. With a good suspension, you've got good shock absorbers. The springs are carrying the weight of the car. The shock absorbers need to be able to balance that and do their job effectively and efficiently. Now you can spend a lot of money on different suspensions. For me, it's about having a suspension that is well proven, well tested, has good backup and support, and is not going to just fall over. And some products are better than others. That's just the facts of life. So, where you spend your money, there's that balance to what you want. And you're going to get what you pay for. But also it's important to understand, do your research, do your homework, talk to people who actually know. They're not just trying to sell you a product. They're actually going to sell you something because they really understand it's good. The suspension types that I tend to use a lot of, use Allman Emu. So I think we do.
Is that the Rolls Royce of suspension?
Is it Rolls Royce? I wouldn't say it's Rolls Royce. I'd say that it's a very good quality suspension. It's a product that's well supported, it's well manufactured. There are some incredibly good suspensions you can spend a lot more money on. And I think that's what you're trying to do when you're doing a vehicle. I'm looking at a product I can get support on. I'm looking at, can I get what I need for it? There are lots of other suspension models. So is it reliable? Can I get support? And it's not always about doing the research. The internet is a fantastic tool, and it'll give you a lot of different opinions. Is it right for you? That's the big question. And I think that's more often than not, I have people who come to me and they sit down and they've done heaps of research, and the challenge they've got is it actually right for me? That's the discussion we have.
I suppose load rating and all those sort of things come
Well,
into
it's not load. Yes, you're right. I mean, I think it's understanding the basics of what you need and how you apply what's out there to your scenario. So this is my vehicle. How much weight am I putting in it? How am I going to drive it? Where am I driving it? How far or how remote? And actually, you know, how much reliability. And that's the balance. You know, if I'm going to use it for weekends, I maybe can go for something cheaper because if there's a problem, I can change it. And if I'm going to drive around the world or across Africa, I'm going to want something that's going to be pretty good because I actually don't have the option to carry a lot of spares, and I want to know it's going to do the job. It's like tires. You know, there's always debate about tires, and again, it's where are you going, how are you driving. We've all got different experience and different opinions with tires. On this truck, he's chosen BF Goodrich. The key thing for me on the tires is, and I'm a great fan, I like Cooper, I like BF Goodrich, but that's my experience.
Yeah.
I've used other tires, but I've absolutely found that these tires, they've served my clients well over the years, insofar as I've had people going with BF Goodrich and driving right around Africa with maybe a puncture, maybe 2. But again, it's how you look after your tires. And it's really important, and we will spend time on tires, because tires are one of the key safety elements of you being on your trip, and where you go and how you get through the terrain with the tires you have and how you use the tires. It's not a case of put a tire on, forget about it. It's about understanding the tire pressures, understanding the tire as part of your suspension, understanding that, you know, tires build up heat, and in the wrong conditions it can be quite dangerous if the heat is too severe and the pressure is too low. So it's that correlation between pressure in the tire and the condition on the road and the safety that you're trying to balance out, and that knowledge is critical. You know, and these days you can, I mean, we put an extra valve on the rim here, and this has got a tire monitor on it.
That's handy.
Now that's great, because that's a safety. It's a massive safety
Could save
feature.
your tire.
Well, it can. You know, I always say to folk when you're walking back to your vehicle, this is what you look at. This bulge here.
Yeah.
Now this bulge becomes imprinted in your mind, and when you come back to your vehicle and you see the bulge is looking like it's a lot fatter and it's sticking out further, it's just telling you something. It's telling it actually this tire is a bit flat.
Yeah.
And of course now you've got a battery monitor that can, a tire monitor that actually can tell you the same sort of thing. But it's also important to understand that if you are not aware of this could be your single biggest risk that actually rolls your vehicle, or you have a serious problem, or you're actually stuck somewhere. So it's safety, safety, safety. How do I educate myself more? Educate yourself on tires. Understand your tires, looking at them. How do I know if my wheel alignment's out? You know, it's simple. Take your hand, rub it against the tire, and if all these little edges are grabbing your hand, we call them feathering, and you grab along here and you feel, oh, this is catching my hand, okay? Your wheel alignment's out. Basically, your tires are running either like that or like that, putting more stress on your steering components. It's giving you less steerability on the road, and it's wearing your tire out to a point where sometimes it becomes noisy, and then it becomes to a point where actually the tire can't really be used properly. So you've got to understand those sort of basic simple checks. Tire, wheel alignment can be knocked out at any time. Bad roads and that. So is the tire balanced? So tires are critical.
Incorrect tire pressure is a biggie in the...
Tire pressures, you know, balancing tire pressures out on the right surfaces is not only about fuel economy, it's about the grip, these 4 little patches that sit on the road surface that hold you on the road. That's what we're talking about. You know, how big is this footprint, and how are you utilizing it on the different road conditions so that you can actually make sure you're safe. And if we look at everything, what are we really looking at? We're looking at our safety. We're looking at being safe on the road so that we actually can get from A to B in the best possible way. In a vehicle that is going to be heavier than normal, going to carry a lot more kit, in something you possibly don't drive every day, so you're not as familiar with the vehicle, or have never driven it. So you get into this car, you've never driven one of these heavy vehicles. So that's what I'm talking about, being responsible and understanding what does this do and how does it affect us.